This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, in today's session, we're going to see what is class methods. We can able to create three methods. First one is instance methods. Already know how to create an object. After creating an object, how to call the methods. That is nothing but instance method. Second, today we're going to look at the class method. If I want to modify my class variables. For example, I given this school name equal to some ABC school. Okay, if I want to change the variable class variable name, I can use class method. The class method mostly used to modify the state. State means variables. I can able to change the state of my I can change the variables statements. I can change the variable value. I can able to change instead of ABC school. I can put BSc school. Like this, I can able to change the state. That's if you want to modify the class state or behavior, you can use class method. Third one is static method. Static method mostly used to write some user defined functions. If you want to write some utility methods, utility means some functions, some logic you want to write, some user defined functions you want to write. At the time, you have to go for static method. Okay, static method is, I can say, another term is isolation. It won't mingle with instant method as a class method. It will be separate only for writing some logics, and then you can call the method directly. No need to refer any class instance or no need to refer any instance. Directly you can call the method and then you can try to execute that method. These are the various methods we're going to see one by one. Already know about instant methods. In the instant method, when you are creating an object for a particular class, you have to initialize one constructor explicitly. If you are not specifying the constructor, your interpreter will initialize one default constructor without values. If you want to create any object, you want to initialize one constructor and then you have to pass some parameters. You have to pass some parameters and then instantly you can able to get the values for a particular object. Okay. Now first we're going to see instant method. In the instant method, first what I going to do, I going to have one directory. The directory name I going to make it as oops, and then I'm going to have one py file. I'm going to make instance method. Already know how to create object, right? Already know how to create object. Have one py file. I'm going to make the class as student as a student. Now if you declare any variable outside a method inside a class, then we can say the variable is class variables. I'm saying again, if you declare any variable outside a method inside a class, that variable is called class variables. I'm going to have school name equal to ABC school. Keep something like ABC school. Now what variable belongs to? Now what variable it belongs to? Will be a will be a class variables. I already said to
Class
you
variable.
the
Yeah.
variable should be declared outside a method inside a class.
Inside the
It is
class.
called class variables. Now we're going to talk about one more variable, instance variables. Instance variables means for every object it having different values. It depends upon the object. Now if I want to create any object, definitely I have to create some explicit constructor. If you are not creating constructor, your interpreter is going to create a default constructor for you for creating an object. Now I going to create one constructor explicitly using magic methods. Using magic methods in it, or you can say it's a Dundon method. Dundon means for prefix and suffix should be hyphen. Now I going to pass name and age. The parameter I going to pass name and age. Self is nothing but it's going to refer the class instance, or I can say it referring to the current class object. I can say two terms. It refers the current class instance, or we can say it referring the current class object. Self refers. Now, what I'm going to do? I'm going to assign a variable. The variable is name. The value parameter I'm going to pass is name. You might have question. Can I give some different variable names? Yeah, you can give self.x equal to name. Self.x equal to name. You can pass like this also. Now, what's the variable name? X is a variable name. Name is the parameter. Okay. Self is nothing but referring to the current class object, or you can say the current class instance. Instance means instantiation to create a object. Okay. Now, this X is nothing but instance variables. If anyone saying instance variables, the value will change for every object. If values keep on changing for every object, then we can say the variable is called instance variables. The variable is called instance variables. As of now, for understanding, I'm going to keep name. What's variable name now? Name is a variable. Name is a
Name.
variable. Now I'm going to have a note. If you don't ask what is instance variables, the value will be changed. Value will be changed. Value will keep value changes. Value will be changed. Depends on the object. Depends on the object. Depends on the object. Sorry. Depends on the object. Anyhow, while creating object, you will pass some values, right? You will pass some values. For name, you will pass like San, you will pass age 24. For you will create another object, you will pass some Sachin, and then you will pass some values 34. Okay. If the values keep on changing for a particular variable, that variable is called instance variables. That's why I mentioned in note over here is value change depends on the object. If values keep on changing, that variable you can call instance variables. And then one more point, if the values keep on changing for this instance variables, we can call this method as instance methods. We can call the method as instant methods, because the values variables keep on changing, the variable values keep on changing, right? Then we can call the method as what methods? Instant methods.
Instance.
Oh, what's the name variable name? What it belongs to class variable or instant variable? This names belongs
Instance.
to class instant variable because value is going to change. Depends on the object. Okay, in the object we will pass some values, right? I can say it's a instant variables. If any, if you see any instant variables inside a method, that method will be called as instant methods. Now I'm going to assign one more instant variable. What's another instant variable? Age equal to age. Fine. Now I'm going to have one method. We're going to have, for example, first we're going to see about the instant method. First we're going to see the instant method. In the instant method, what I'm going to do? I'm going to use a show. The first parameter you can see self. If you want to create any method, in the method, the first parameter, if you see any self over here, that method is called what method? Instance method. Instance method. Okay. As well as using insert method, you can able to access or modify the object state. I'm going to show now. Using insert method, you can able to access or modify the object state. You might be wondering what is state. State is nothing but your variable value. Variable value change in the object, you can change the variable value. Okay, now using insert method, I'm going to access as well as I'm going to change modify my object state. Okay, and then in the instant variables, you can see the instant variables inside a method as function method. See, this also you can say it as what method belongs to it, also a instant method.
Instance method.
Method, because instant variable value going to keep on changes, but depends on the object, depends on the object. You're going to change that way, going to consider it's instant method. This also going to show is also going to be a instant method. What we can do, we can able to access and then you can modify the object state. State means variable value can change. Now first I'm going to show how to access. Okay, how to access. What I'm going to do. Okay, I want to use a return keyword. I'm going to have self dot name, comma, self dot age. Now what I'm trying to do, if I call this row method, I'm going to access the object state. Access this object state. I'm going to get the name and age, right? Okay, fine. Just reformat this file. Okay, let it be. Now I want to create object. How to create object? For the student class, I want to create object.
Give any name.
Don't say like
M
that.
equal to
You have to say class
class
instance, or you can say
instance.
class
Class
instance. You have to
instance.
say, you can keep some x. Okay, x equal to, and then class name. The class name is
Student.
student. And then you have to use the function. Okay, this is how you can able to create your object. This is how you can able to create your object for student class. Create your object for which class? Student class. Actually, this is going to be the class instance. It's nothing but a pointer. And this pointer is going to search for the student. Finally, find a student. From the student, what I going to do using print statement, I going to x dot show. While creating an object, you have to look for the init constructor. In the constructor, how many parameters I passed? In the
Two
constructor, once
parameters.
creating two parameters, so I have to pass name and age. I'm going to pass san single quotes and pass single quotes or double quotes. Both will belongs to a string. And then age equal to 20. Sorry. And then age equal to, you have to pass 25. Okay, and then I'm going to call this class instance x dot show, because I'm creating the entire object for the student class. Okay, using this pointer, I can able to access method. I can able to access this method x dot show. Now, what will be the result? It's going to print name and age. Name and age is going to print in form of tuples. Okay, san and then age will be 25. This is how you want to create an instant method. In this class, how many instant methods are there? In this class, how many instant methods are there? Two instant methods are there. Whichever you are saying self keyword, we can say that is going to instant method. We can able to see the instant method means you can able to access or modify the object state. Now I'm accessing. See, I'm getting the name and age. If I want to modify the object state, I can able do. What I can do? I'm going to add uh, plus 5. Now what I'm trying to do? I'm trying to modify my object state. Okay, see, whenever the object is created, uh, the constructor will create the object for this entire student class as well as for this instant variables, we are assigning some value. Okay, name and age, we are assigning to this instance variables. Now, what I'm trying to do, I'm modifying the state of the object. I'm going to add +5. What's happening over here? I'm getting 30. Using instant methods, what you can do? You can able to access or modify the object state. This is how you can create the instant methods. Constructor also is one of the instant methods. This is also a instant method. In instant method, definitely first parameter should be self keyword. Self keyword nothing but referring the current class instance. Instead of self, you have to put x. You have to put x, and then you have to put x over here. X dot name equal to name. X dot age equal to age. Fine. Now next we're going for the class method. It's very important. Okay. If I want to modify, same thing. You want to modify or access a class state, then you can use a class method. You might have a question, what are you going to modify? If I want to modify ABC school into BCD school, I have to use class method, because instant variables I cannot able to change using class method. Keep in mind, instant variables cannot be changed using class method. Okay, I can't able to access name and age in class method, but I can able to change my class variables. I can able to change state. That's why I mentioned here. I can able to access or modify the class state. Whichever class variables is there, I can able to change the state. Okay, and then whenever you're using class method, the first parameter you have to pass CLS. You have to pass CLS. I'm going to show now. You have to pass CLS. CLS means it referring the student class. It's referring the which class? Student class. Instead of self, you have to put CLS. That thing you have to keep in mind. The CLS refers to the current class, whichever class is using, right? Nothing but current class. Now, I'm going to show what is class methods in Python. Okay, this class methods mostly used in the same class only. The second point actually, the class methods mostly used in the same class. Okay, you have one class student. In the class only you can define the class method. In another class you can't go and define the class method. That class method belongs to the particular class only. That class method belongs to the particular class, and then it's not on a specific object instance. Using class name, you can call that method. What you can do, using the class name, you can call the method. See, you can using class name, I can call stone.show. Okay, you might have question. The self is referring to current class object. Can I use stone.show? Yeah, using class methods, you can able to call this stone.show. Okay, and then we have two important points. The class method is bound to the particular class. Bound to particular class means for the class only you can use class method. For another class you can't define a class method here. For example, I have two classes. One is student and one is college. You have two different classes. For student class, I can define class method for in the student class itself. For college class, I can define one more class method in college itself. Okay, that's why I'm mentioning over here is class method is bound to the class and not the object of the class. We can access only class variables. We can access only this class variables. And then second point is very important point. Where I can able to modify the class state by changing the value of class variable. Okay, across all the class objects. If I want to change AB school into BCCD school, I can able to change using class method. I can change the value of my class variable. Okay, now I'm going to show some implementation for you. Okay, in the oops, I'm going to create one more py file. Method is this insert method. Another method is class method. See, two important points you have to keep in mind. If you want to change your class variables, then you can use class method, and then you can change the property of your class variables. You can change the value, and then the class method is bound to only the particular class. If you have student class, you can mention the class method here. That class method belongs to the particular class only. Another class cannot be able to use your class method. Two things you have to keep in mind. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to have same example. Class students, sorry, class, and then students. I'm going to have some constructor. The constructor I'm going to have name and age as a parameter. I'm going to have two instance variables. One instance variable is name, another instance variable is age. Okay, and then I'm going to have one class variable. The class variable I'm going to keep school name equal to somewhat ABC school. ABC underscore school. And then what I have to do, I have created constructor, and then I used one class variable, and then I have two instance variables. After that, what we can do? Okay, now I'm going to use one decorator. You might have a question, what is decorator? Decorator is nothing but if you want to modify your state, if you want to modify class state means you want to change any variable value or function logic itself. I want to change my function logic itself. You can use decorators. See, decorators are one big topic as of now. Understand like decorator. If you use decorator before the function, you can change the logic or can change the state of the class variable. Okay, decorator, the symbol we have to use at symbol. Now, using decorator, I'm going to use class method. Before function, you have to use one annotation called at annotation. At is nothing but decorator. If you want to modify the state of a variable, or if you want to modify the function state itself, method function state itself, then you can use decorator. Decorator nothing but at symbol. And then I going to define one class method now. You have to use a decorator at class method, and then I going to define one function. What I'm going to do? I'm going to change my school name. I'm going to change the state. State means variable value I'm going to change. Mention like change of school is going to function. What is the first parameter I want to pass for class method? What is first parameter I want to pass for class method? I want to
Name.
pass
CLS.
CLS. CLS nothing but the referring the current class. Instead of CLS, you can put what you can put. You can put the class name. Instead of CLS, you can put the class name, but meaning wise, they'll put CLS. That CLS is referring to your class name. You can put CLS or you can use student. Okay. If it's a class method, the first parameter will be CLS. Okay. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to change only my school name. Right? I'm going to change only my school name. What I'm going to do? I'm going to pass one parameter called name. That's it. And then before changing the school, I want to print my class variable name. How to print the class variable name? Student dot student dot school name.
Name.
Before changing, I'm printing the value. That's it. Before changing the school, I'm printing the student dot school name will be. It's going to give ABC school. Now I'm going to change my school name. Let's look at here how I change the school name. You have to use syntax called student name dot school name equal to the parameter you have, right? Name. That name you have to call. Whatever name you are passing to this method, the value will be changed for this class variable. If I want to change the class variable state, I have to go for class method decorator. Class method decorator. What is nothing but decorator? Class method decorator. If I want to change the state, if I want to access, I can use class method. It's similar to insert methods. It's similar to insert method. Insert method, what will pass? Will pass self as the first parameter. Self is nothing but referring to current object. But in class method, what is first parameter you have to pass? You have to pass CLS. Okay. Now let's see how I am creating object. Can you say the answer for this? How to create a object for student class? How to create an object for student class?
Give any class
Uh,
instance.
Class instance, I'm going to keep C equal to,
Class name.
yeah, class name, and then you have to call the function. Okay, this is how you can able to create an object in Python. Okay, I created a object. Now see, I created object. Now in the constructor, how many parameters I have passed? The constructor, how many parameters I have passed?
One, four,
I'm asking the constructor
two
because we are
parameter.
creating object. See this kind of this. If you are creating object, it's going to call this constructor.
Two
You have to
parameters.
pass two parameters. You have to pass. You should not consider self keyword. Self is nothing but C. It referring the current class object, or you can say the current class instance. Okay, name you have to pass. I'm going to pass a name as San. Age equal to 27. Okay, fine. This is how you can create an object. Now what I going to do? I will make a note over here. How to call the class method? Simple. The syntax is simple. I'll write a syntax over here. Keep syntax in mind. Class name dot method name. This is how you have to call. Now use the syntax and call the method. How to call the method? Have the syntax.
Student
Class name
dot
dot students dot sorry students dot.
change school.
Why are you getting? Oh, okay. Yes, his caps right. Students dot change of school. That's it. How many parameters you want to pass?
One parameter.
One parameter you have to pass. This CL is referring to your class name. Now pass some school name. What school name I can pass? Some I'm going to pass some my school name, BMHS school. That's it. Now I'm going to add one more print statement. After changing my class variable state, I'm going to print the name. What name am I going to print? Student dot school name. Okay, you're going to see. Now, what result I'm getting? Previously, my class variable was AB school. Now my school name is BMHS school. BMHS school. I'm going to remove. As of now, I'm commenting this thing. You can change. How I can able to change the state of my class variable using class method. I have changed. You can see. You might have question. Can you remove CLS? Yeah, I'm going to remove CLS now. I'm going to refer my class name. Let's see. I'm getting the same results. Now, instead of ABC school, I change the school as BMHS school. Okay. The first parameter you have to pass CLS. Otherwise, you can pass your class name. This is how you have to use a class method. I'm going to show some different examples to you. Okay, this is the first example. Using decorator, you can define the class method. This class method belongs to a particular class only. You can't use this class method in some other class. It's only particular, it's bound to the particular class. As well as using class method, you can able to access as well as change the class variable properties. Properties means you can able to change the state of your class variable. Actually, the class variable means should be outside of method, inside the class. That's why it's called class variables. Okay, this is the first example. Now I'm going to show the second example. Okay, okay, yeah. I will do one thing. I will have one more example. I'm going to calculate your age. How will you calculate your age? Date of birth,
Minimum
mine,
date of
uh,
birth. 2
current
days.
year minus date of birth. Current year minus date of birth will be giving you a how many years you are old. Okay, 27 years or 26 years, because current year minus your date of birth. That's the logic I'm going to do using class methods. I'm going to have one more py file. The py file, what I'm going to do, I'm going to have like date of birth calculation. Date of birth using class method. I have to see if I want to use a date, I have to use one module. I have to use one module. Hold a minute.
This conference will now be recorded.
Now I'm going to calculate the date of birth using the class method. Now I'm going to have same class like student underscore one, and then I want to initialize one constructor. I want to initialize. I want to use some done or magic methods, and then I'm going to pass. Same example you can keep name and age, and then I'm going to assign some instant variables. Name equal to name, and then age will be equal to age. Now I want to assign I want to assign I want to assign if I want to define a class method, I want to use a decorator. I want to use your decorator. The decorator will be at the rate of class method. Now I'm going to write my function for here. That's going to be a class method. Just keep def stands for define, and then what I'm going to do, I'm going to calculate the age. What is the first parameter I want to pass? What is the first parameter I want to pass? CLS, right? A
CLS.
class method, first parameter CLS, and then I want to calculate the age. What are the two parameters required? One is name, another one is birth year. Name, another parameter I can pass, birth year. Okay, okay. Now, okay, I will use one return keyword CLS, and then I'm going to give name, because when whoever calls this method, calculate method, it's going to give the name. It's going to give the name, and then it we want to calculate our age. How to calculate? For that, we have to use one date module. The date module will be from, it will be date time. Okay, that module will be date time. From this module, I going to import date. I'm going to import date. Now I'm going to calculate. First, I want to take the year. Then only I can subtract with my birth year. Right. Now have this date function dot. I want to get year. Use today dot year. This will give today year. What the today year will be? 2023. I want to subtract with birth year. Now, whoever calls this method, it's going to give the name as well as it's going to subtract the current year minus the birth year. The birth year you have to pass in the method. Okay. It's going to give you your age. For this person, this will be the age it's going to give. Okay. Now, you might have a question. Why I have used CLS? You already said to me, CLS nothing but a class name. Now, why I have used CLS over here? This CLS, okay, it's internally going to create one object. It's internally going to create object. How to say? It's going to create a object, and then it's internally going to call this constructor. Internally going to call this constructor, and then whatever argument I pass to over here for this method, it's going to assign name equal to whatever name I'm giving over here, it's going to assign, and then whatever year I'm going to give. After calculating this value, it's going to assign to this instant variable age. I'll make it clear. This CLS nothing but it's going to create one class object. It's belong to only particular class. It belong to only particular class. Okay. Now leave all these things. What I'm going to do, I'm going to have one more method. That method is nothing but show. And then this, you can see the first parameter self. This is not a class method. This method belongs to a particular object. This method belongs to particular object. What I going to do, return of self dot name, and then I'm going to do some string formatting over here. Ages I can mention like this: ages self dot age. It will give the output as san ages 27, san ages 25, like this. Whatever values you have passed to this class method is going to give the value. Okay. Now, how to create object? For the student one class, I want to create an object. How to create object?
Class instance.
Class instance, keep some class
Okay.
instance be equal to something like a class name.
Student1.
And then how many parameters you have
Class
to pass?
parameters.
Sorry, how many parameters you have to pass?
Parameters.
You have to pass
2
name,
parameters.
age, and age you have to pass. Now, as of now, we're going to pass SAN and then 22. This is how you can create your object. Okay, fine. Now, I'm going to say how to call the class method. How to call the class method. Before calling the class method, what you can do, you have two options. Directly you can call class name dot method name you can call. This way you can call. But I'm going to use one more approach. Approach is nothing but using factory method. Creating a new object using a factory method. Creating a new object using factory method. Let's look at here. If I call this calculate age, it's going to create one object. This method is going to create an object. It's internally going to call this constructor, and then whatever value is returning, right? Whatever value is function returning, it's going to assign value to my instance variables. From this instance variables, I can get the name as well as age. Okay. For example, if you are this is the factory method actually. Factory method means from class method through class method you are creating a object. That method is nothing but factory method. If anyone asks in the interview what is factory method, using class method I can able to create a object based on the constructor. After returning the value, I'm going to assign to my instant variable name as well as age. Now I'm going to create a object factory method. You have to follow some syntax over here. What syntax is? Class name dot method name, new method name. I mentioned here like new method name equal to class name dot, wait a minute, class name dot, you want to call like this, or class name okay, class name you want to call what? Okay, yeah, we have one method called class method. In that you have to use class name dot method name. This is the actual syntax. Based on syntax, you have to create a new method name. You have to create a new method name. When you want to go for the approaches, if you are not using decorator, if you are not using this decorator, then you have to use this class method. Use this class method. By using class method, you want to create a method name. After that, you can call the method name directly. After that, you can call the method name directly. How to call the method name? Just copy and paste over here. Now we're going to have this thing in notepad. This is the actual syntax you have to follow if you are not using decorator. I can make a note here. If you are not using decorator, then you can use class method approach. It's actually old approach actually. In 2.1 version and 2. And then 1.8 version, they'll use class method. They use class method. Okay, but in the recent 3. Version, they use decorators. Okay, I'm going to show the difference now. Right now, using the decorator. Right now, using the decorator at class method. No need to go for this class method. No need to go for this class method. Now, how to call this? How to call this method? How to call this method? I'm asking you. I already said one approach to you. Class name dot would equal to class name dot
Class name or class method.
method name. That's it. Okay. If you are using decorator, you have to follow this approach. If you are not using art decorator, it's a olden style actually. If you are not using decorator, you have to follow syntax. What are syntax are given to you, right? Just use the syntax class method, and then you have to use class name and method name, and then on the left hand side you have to put class name, and then you have to put some new method name, or you can use same method name as well, no issues. Or you can use same method name, go into reason same method name, and then you have to call class name dot new method name if you are not using decorator. Now here in class method I use decorator, so I am going to use dot calculate age. Now what are the parameters I want to pass for calculate age? I want to pass two parameters. What are two parameters?
Name and birth year.
Name and age you have to pass. Name and age I have to pass. What I going to do? Somewhat keep like Abhishek, and then age will be 20. Age will be I have to pass like year I have to pass, right? Sorry, I have to pass the year. Birth
Birth
year I have
year.
to pass. Birth year I am going to make 1992, and then have one variable name. Have one variable name because this CLS it's going to create an object. This CLS, what is internally going to happen? It's going to call this constructor. In the constructor, water value returning, right? Its name will be assigned to this instant variables, and then this year will be assigned to this here. Okay, what I can do instead of yeah, okay. After calculating the age, right, the value will be assigned over here. Now, I created the object that belongs to a class object. Okay, I'm going to have one J. J is nothing but class object. J is nothing but class object. If I have class object, can I call like this? J dot show. J dot show. If I apply J dot show, what's the value? If I apply J dot show, what value I'll get? Just look at the constructor and say the answer.
Name and age.
Name. Oh, see, it's going to give Abhishek. It's okay, Abhishek, and then
And year.
it's going to perform. It's going to calculate the today year and then minus birth year. Today's 2023 minus 1992, and then it's going to give the birth year. The birth year will be assigned to this instant variable age. Okay, it's going to give the name as well as. Hold a minute. What I made a mistake. Okay. because name is nothing but somewhat string, right? Okay. I did a A should be properly formatted, right? Okay, what I can do, okay, should be string, I guess. Okay, one can only concatenate string, can concatenate only string, not int. Okay, understood the thing. What I do is saying name is string, age is also string. This age is nothing but a int actually. Showing right, self dot age will be a int. Now, if I want to do the casting, how to do the casting? Convert to into string. If you want to convert into string, you have to use str. It will convert the into str now. Why I'm not getting any results? Why I'm not getting any results? Okay, I made a blunder mistake over here. I have to use one print statement. If I use print statement, it's going to give name as well as age. What's Abhishek age is? 31. Abhishek age is 31. See, this is how you can able to create a factory method. Factory method means definitely you have to use one constructor, and then you should have one class method. In the class method, you have to return the CLS. CLS nothing but it's going to call the constructor internally. Whatever you have calculated, uh, you are going to assign to the instant variables. Okay, if you call like this, definitely going to create an object that is nothing but class object. Nothing but class object. You can use ga.show. Now I'm going to use one more method without using decorator. Without using decorator, how to create a class method? I'm going to show now. Without using decorator, it will looks like a normal method. We have one built-in function called class method. The built-in function will be a class method. It's going to return a class method for a given function. It's going to return a method for a given function. Now I will take one more example. Class method underscore 2. I'm going to have one class called school. Now I'm going to have one name. School of name will be BCA school, BCA school, and then I'm going to create one class method without using decorator. Without using decorator. Now school name. School name. Now you have to say, if I want to create a class method, what should be the first parameter? If you want to create a class method without decorator, what should be the first parameter?
Class name.
Class name. Class name means you have to put CLS. CLS in the referring going to refer your school. Okay, fine. Colon. I'm going to print school name is okay. School name is comma. I want to pass a name over here. How to pass a name? If I want to access many class variables, how I can access? If I want to access any class variables, how to access? As name dot class
Method name.
variable name. Class name dot class variable name you have to access. Now I going to put over here is CLS dot name. I already said to you, CLS is going to refer to your class name. Class name dot, this name will be BCA school. Otherwise, you can put like this. Instead of CLS, what you can do? You can give the class name itself. Okay, simple. I'm going to put CLS. Okay, now this method belongs to class method, but you can ask, that's no decorator. That decorator is going to change your state of your class, but till now I don't have decorator. We have one more built-in function called class method. Using that built-in function, you can able to create your class object. Now I'm going to create a class method without using decorator. I'm going to create a class method without your decorator. Have you create a class method? Create a class method without this decorator. Can you apply syntax now? Can you apply the syntax?
Class name dot
Class name dot new
new
method name. What is the
method.
class name? Hold a minute. Making noise over here. Yeah. You can apply the syntax. Syntax is class name. What's the class name? School. And
Full
then and then
method name.
new method name. You can give any name. Okay. You can give any name. I'm going to give like m equal to and then equal to this is going to be a built-in function. This is going to be a built-in function. And then next, what do I do? You have to say class name is school, right? Just copy the school and put in the class method. Dot. What's the method name? Method name is this is my class method name. Just call as it is. Okay, this is how you can able to create your class method. Now I want to call this method. How to call? I want to call this method. Just copy as it is. As per syntax, you can see class name dot new method name. You have to put the function. Just copy as it is and then put the function and run the code. School name is BCA school. Now using this class method, I can able to change the class state as well as I can able to access the values. Now previously school was BCA school. Now I am trying to access those values. If you want to change, you can able to change. Okay. Now without using decorator, I use one more built-in function to class method to change the state or you can able to get the values of your class variable. See, this is a older method actually. No one will use class method built-in function. In the recent days, they use only decorators. Before a method, you have to put the @ symbol and then you can mention the decorator. Now, can we do one more thing? Class method using inheritance. Okay. I did one example, right? Class method.py. Yeah. Yeah, you can look at the example over here using decorator. What I did, I am changing the state of my class variable. Previously the school was AB school. Now it's going to be BMH school. This is how you can use the class method. And then one more method you have, that is called static method. We'll discuss on tomorrow. Okay. I'm signing off this session.